nice day. I'm so proud of how beautifully you boys are doing your Aleph Bays. I love speaking to you on the phone and listening to you read. I'm so proud of how hard you all are trying. But now it's time for a story. This is a very special story, and I'll tell you at the end why it's so special. Let's start. This story is about a man whose name is Elimelech. Elimelech lives in Eretz Yisrael with his wife and his 2 sons. But the Jewish people at the time did not do mitzvahs the way Hashem wanted them to. As we've learned many times together, Hashem waits and waits for us to do teshuvah and for us to behave the way he wants us to behave. And sometimes we do, and then that's amazing, and sometimes we don't. So when we don't do teshuvah, instead of Hashem punishing us, Hashem would rather send us a message so that we will see, oh my goodness, this isn't right, what's going on. And hopefully that message will be enough to remind us to do teshuvah. Like, for example, coronavirus and lockdown. Hashem is telling us we need to make sure that we are behaving the way he wants us to behave. In the time of Elimelech, Hashem sent a famine, a drought. That means that there's not enough rain and the weather's very hot. And slowly the fruit and the vegetables that are growing in the fields start to die. The animals don't have enough water to drink, and the animals can't grow big and strong and healthy. And the animals might start to die as well. People will get thirsty. And when this happens, Hashem is not punishing us. Hashem is reminding us, listen, my beautiful children, listen, Bnei Yisrael, we need to fix the way we behave. So, in Elimelech's time, there was a famine. There was no food. And the Jewish people were very hungry and very worried. Elimelech saw what was going on, and Elimelech realized he is a very rich man. Very rich man. He had so much money. He would be able to buy enough food for all of Bnei Israel for a long time. And he thought to himself, everybody knows that I'm so rich. And now that people are struggling, they're all going to come knocking on my door, and they're going to say, Elimelech, please help me. Please give me tzedakah. Please give me food. Elimelech, help me. Elimelech, help me. And I'm going to end up having to give away all my money to all the people. I don't want that. Why does Hashem give us money? Is money something that's important or precious? No, it's not. The only reason we have money is so that we can do chesed with it, so that we can help other people. Elimelech did not want to have to give away all his money, and he decided he is going to leave Eretz Yisrael. He packed up all his things, his money, his animals, his beautiful material, everything that he had, all his riches. He packed it all up. He told his wife, her name was Naomi, we are going away. He called his 2 sons. Their names were Machlon and Kilion. And they packed up and they left. All of Bnei Israel was so disappointed. They had been so looking forward to knowing that Elimelech would be able to help them. And now they were on their own. Elimelech and his family left Eretz Yisrael and went to a country called Moab. Moab was not known for being very kind. They were people who were known for being a little bit selfish. And maybe Elimelech chose Moab because he was feeling selfish as well. Elimelech and his family arrive in Moab, and they stay there for a bit. And Elimelech gets comfortable, and Machlon and Kilion get comfortable, and they're very happy in Moab. They become friends with the Goyim who live around. And Machlon and Kilion get married to 2 ladies who are not Jewish. Their names are Rus and Orpah. Now, Naomi was not happy about this, but Elimelech and Machlon and Chilion did not want to listen to her. Hashem was waiting for Elimelech to do Teshuvah, so Hashem sent Elimelech a reminder. And what happened? He lost all of his money, all of his wealth, gone. Elimelech should have stopped and said, "Oh, why did this happen? What's Hashem telling me? Oh, maybe I'm not behaving the way that I should be behaving." But he didn't. He carried on living, being friends with a goyim in Moab. And then, one by one, his 2 sons died, and Elimelech died because he did not do Teshuvah. Now, Naomi is left in Moab. She has no money. She has no children. She has no husband. She decides, I didn't want to come here in the first place. I don't want to be in Moab, surrounded by Goyim. I want to go back home to Eretz Yisrael, where we belong. She told her 2 daughters-in-law, Rus and Orpah, I love you. You girls you are very good wives. You are very good daughters-in-law. But I am going back to Eretz Yisrael. Now, Rus and Orpah, they loved Naomi. They really loved her. And they said to her, if you are going, we are coming with you. We are coming with you. We don't care that you're going to a place we've never been before. We want to come with you. Rus and Orpah, they grew up in the palace of Moab. They were from the royal family. So Naomi said to them, no, you can't come with me. I have no money. When I get to Eretz Yisrael, the Jewish people, they are not going to welcome me with open arms and hugs. They will remember that I left Eretz Yisrael with my husband and my children when they were hungry and we could have helped them and we didn't. They will probably be cross when I get back there. And where am I going to live? I might have to sleep outside in the fields. Rus and Orpah said, Naomi, we love you. We want to come with. And they started to travel back to Eretz Yisrael together. Naomi kept stopping and telling them, go home. Go back to Moab. You don't need to come with me. And after a while, Orpah gave Naomi and Rus a hug and said, I love you very much, but I have decided I am going back to Moab. Naomi turned to Rus and said, go with your sister. You don't need to come with me. Rus said to Naomi, where you go, I will go. Where you sleep, I will sleep. Where you live, I will live. Your people are my people. Your Hashem is my Hashem. I want to come and I want to be with you and I want to be part of the Bnei Yisrael. Naomi realized she could not convince Rus to go back home, and they went together back to Eretz Yisrael. Naomi was quite right. When the people saw Naomi coming, they could not believe that the once rich and fancy Naomi was now poor and old on her own with no husband or children. And she was coming back with one of her daughters-in-law. Can you believe it? Her son married a non-Jewish girl who now wants to become Jewish. They could not believe what had happened to Naomi and Elimelech. And they were not very happy to see her. Some of them even thought, when we needed help, you didn't help us. Now you need help? We're not going to help you. That's called taking revenge. They should not have felt that way. But that is how they felt. When Naomi got to Eretz Yisrael, they had nowhere to live. They found some tiny little place where they could stay. And they had no land, They had no fields. They had no money to buy food. And Ruth said she is going to go to the fields and she will get some wheat that the farmers have left behind that doesn't belong to anyone anymore. And she's going to collect the wheat and she'll bring it home to Naomi and they'll be able to make bread and they'll have something to eat. And that's what she did. And for a few months, she went to a field and she would collect only the wheat that did not belong to the farmers that they had left behind that they didn't want. They weren't coming back for it. She was always very careful whenever she bent down to pick up the wheat that she would bend in a way that was sneers. There were always other poor people around collecting wheat, and they were chatting and laughing loud and maybe speaking a bit of Lashon Hara, and Ruth didn't join them. She stayed by herself, quiet, sneers, calm, not embarrassed that she was poor and that she was taking tzedakah. She didn't mind. She wanted to be with Naomi, with the Jewish people. She was learning all about Hashem and the Torah and the mitzvahs, and she was happy. Now, she didn't realize that the farm that she was going to all the time belonged to a man called Boaz. Boaz was, she didn't know this, but Boaz was a cousin of Elimelech and Naomi. And when Boaz saw one day all the people who were collecting the poor people who were collecting the leftover pieces of wheat, he saw a whole group of people collecting on that side, and by herself, this tznius, amazing-looking lady. And Boaz said to his workers, "Who is that?" And they said, "That is Ruth. She has come back with your cousin Naomi. They have nothing, they are poor, they have nothing left. And she's collecting wheat to go and make bread for her and Naomi." Boaz realized that this Ruth was very special. And he ended up marrying her. Now, Ruth and Boaz, they got married, and Ruth had a baby. This baby, his name was Obed. When Obed grew up, he had a child called Yishai. And when Yishai grew up, he had a child called David. Yes, the David that we know about, David HaMelech. Ruth and Boaz had a baby, had a child who grew up. His name was Obed. Obed had a child who was called Yishai, and Yishai had a child called David. He became David HaMelech. So Ruth, she was the great-grandmother of David HaMelech. She could have been a princess in Moab. She said, "No ways, I want to be part of the Jewish people." And she was so determined to get close to Hashem that she was lucky enough to become a great-grandmother of David HaMelech. Wow, that is what happens when we really, really want to learn and be good and do what Hashem wants us to do. Naomi had been so sad. Everything had gone wrong for her, but she decided the right thing to do would be to go back to Eretz Yisrael and join her people. And she thought everything was so sad and so bad, but she didn't realize that her daughter-in-law Ruth would become the great-grandmother of David HaMelech. Now, this story is special for a few reasons. Firstly, this story is called Megillas Ruth. When it was Purim time, we learned about Megillas Esther, the story of Queen Esther. Now, for Shavuos, we are learning about Megillas Ruth. Megillas Ruth is read on Shavuos, and I'm going to tell you why. Firstly, Shavuos is all about us getting the Torah from Hashem. And what happened to Ruth? She got for herself the Torah. When she joined the Jewish people, it was as if Hashem gave her the Torah as well. So we ask Hashem on Shavuos, We want to get our own personal Torah like Rus. We want so badly to be close to Hashem and to be able to do what's right. We want to be like Rus. Another beautiful thing about Rus is that David HaMelech was born and he died on Shavuos. And we read the story of his great-grandmother on Shavuos. So these are all very beautiful things to think about when we think about Rus and Shavuos and David HaMelech. Something that David HaMelech wrote, one of his teachings that he left for us is called Tehillim, the book of Tehillim. Lots of people say Tehillim on Shavuos because it's David HaMelech's Torah, and David HaMelech was born and died on Shavuos. Maybe you boys can start practicing a Tehillim to say on Shavuos. One of the Tehillims that we know is Esa Einai, and that is a Tehillim from David. So that is going to be a beautiful thing that you boys can do on Shavuos. In Morah Hashem, we're going to learn a little bit more about Shavuos in the next few days. Have a good night, boys.